Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories unto YAHAWAH, SHAM, YAHAWASHI, double honors to my elders and my apostles of Great Milestone. They're doing it real well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the afflicted, the third. Shalom. This is Brother Dawadah coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, SHAM, YAHAWASHI. And today, I want to do another edition of Going to the Comment Board. And this comment is by an individual by the name of Timothy Arnold. And it says, I am going through something in my household because the Lord is working with me. I can't wait till our Father comes, for real. And I want to do a slight response to the brother's comment. And that's, when you come into this knowledge, when you come to this truth, all right, you prepare yourself for temptation. And that's what it says in Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Which, by the way, this is being in transit. You prepare yourself for temptation. You're going to be tested. And one of the main things that we're tested with when you first come to the truth is your family members coming up against you. Because you would think that, because once you first hear this word, and you hear about the blessings, the promises, you want to tell everybody. You tell your friends, you tell your family, you tell everybody. And what you think in your mind is that everyone's just going to get it. Everything's going to click. Which, by the way, as you can tell from his comment, he wasn't at all specific about whatever it was that, was going on in this household. But I'm just using that as an example, and, you want to tell them, and you hope that or you think that they're just going to get it just like that, just as easily as you got it. But that ain't the case, all right? Because what happens is a lot of times they come up against you. All right, a lot of times they come up against you. All right, they say, "Oh no, I don't believe in that. Oh no, his name is Jesus," or they call on those other names, like Jehovah, this, that, and the third. Why aren't you going to church no more? And you start realizing that they're actually against you. Now, in terms of your father and your mother, they may not be down with this truth, but you still have to honor them. And it tells you that in the Apocrypha, it also is in the law. You still have to honor your father and your mother, whether they're in the truth or whether they're not. Now, when you come to this truth, you're going to be tested, all right? But what you're going through is no different than what another brother is going through. That's why Apostle Paul said in the book of, I believe it's 1 Peter, the 5th chapter, it says that the same afflictions are accomplished with your brethren that are in the world. Many other brothers that's within the faith are going through the same exact things that you're going through. All right? So, hey, that's part of this walk. That's why Yahawashi said, enter ye in through the straight gate. Straight means a position of difficulty, not S-T-R-A-I-G-H-T, but S-T-R-A-I-T. Straight, a position of difficulty. Like you read about, or you hear about the Strait of Hormuz. All right? Why is it a strait? Well, because it's too narrow, all right? It's a waterway that's in between two land masses. So it's a very narrow way for that ship to sail through. And that's why every now and then you hear about ships getting stuck in the strait, ships hitting the rock, this, that, and the third. Why is it called a strait? Well, because it's a difficult position for a boat to navigate through. It's difficult, So when you come to this truth, you're going to go through certain things. You're going to be tested. You're going to be put in a position of difficulty. But that's the only way that you could get into that beautiful kingdom. It tells us that in 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. All right? Like the older brother Gabar from the GMS Detroit camp says, and you hear him say it all the time, you got to go through the furnace to earn this. You got to go through that heat. All right? The Most High said in the book of Isaiah 48:10 that he will put his men through the furnace of affliction. That's that hell that you go through. And what that hell that you go through does is it builds your faith. Build your faith. Build your confidence. Build your character. Right? Because it's, like I always say, it's easy for you to say, or rather it's easy for your woman to say, hey, I love you so much, this, that, and the third. But let's see how much she loves you when you're put in a position of difficulty. Let's see how much she loves you when, let's say, you get fired from your job, or let alone when all hell breaks loose. Let's see if she's really going to stick with you and be down with you. Because it's easy when you're not going through anything for you to have that, oh yeah, I can do it. Oh yeah, I love the Lord. But how much more when you're put in a position of difficulty, when you're catching hell? You know? That's why the scriptures say, in the days of affliction, all right? In the days of affliction, there's a forgetfulness of mirth, but in the days of mirth, there's a forgetfulness of affliction, roughly paraphrasing the scripture. You know? In the days of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. In the days of affliction, there's a forgetfulness of prosperity. In other words, when you're doing good, you don't remember hail, the affliction, bitterness. But when you're catching hail, you don't remember that prosperity. You know? And no chastisement that we go through is going to be pleasant unto us. Meaning you ain't going to have a big old smile from ear to ear because you're catching hail. Apostle Paul said that in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter. Right? That affliction that we're going through is not, it don't feel good, but yet it's necessary. Right? It's necessary because it purifies us, builds our character, builds our faith, builds our integrity. And that's why when you go through certain things again, like when you first come into this truth, the first week your car may break down, but you're like, wait a minute, I just got this thing, and I'd had it for like 2-3 months, I'd had no problems. But then you're like, wait a minute, why this happen now? Because you're starting, that's the beginning of you being tested. But then let's say if the Lord YAHAWASHI allows you to be in this truth 6 months from then, or 1 month from, or 1 year from then your car breaks down again. You're like, man, I'll be all right. I haven't been through this. You know? And that's your faith getting built. That's your resolve getting built. Because you've seen how YAHAWASHI took care of you each and every time that your car broke down. So now your faith is getting built. Now you're gaining more integrity. Now you're understanding why. All right? You understand, okay, it's just my turn. It's my time now for me to go through affliction. All right? But then each and every affliction that you go through, the Lord delivers you up out of it. And all of us that's within this truth will go through that affliction. Apostle Paul said in the book of 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, that for all they that live godly in YAHAWASHI shall suffer persecution. All right? So it don't get when you come to this truth, it's not an easy walk. You're going to be persecuted. All right? People are going to come up against you. All right? And that's just how it is. All they that live godly in YAHAWASHI, all they that's within this knowledge, within this truth, will suffer persecution. So that's an example of us catching hell. Right? But just because you're going through certain things, because they'll tell you in the world, if things don't go your way, it's because you're being wicked. That's not always the case. Okay? That's definitely not always the case. You can be doing the right thing, and then, your car breaks down. You know? And that's just a test. It's just a trial. It's just your turn to get put through that furnace. And just like with gold, when you first get gold out of the earth, it has all type of impurities within it. All kinds of impurities in it. All right? But what is that individual that's working with that gold, what does he have to do to it to get into that beautiful necklace or a beautiful ring? Well, he has to put it through fire to burn away those impurities. All right? To burn away those impurities. Then let's say he wants like a plate, a golden platter. All right? After he burns it through the fire, you cool it in water. Then sometimes you gotta beat it, to get it to be in that shape that you want. All right? So that's a rigorous process, and it's not something that's light, so to speak. It has to go through that furnace, that fire, in order for it to get purified of those impurities. All right, and also for it to be molded into the shape of what you want it to be. All right, that furnace is necessary. And that's what the Lord is doing with this hopeful elect. He's putting you through the furnace of affliction. That way, each time you come back out, you're more and more purified, more and more refined. All right, you're even greater in the spirit than how you was before you was put within that furnace. All right, like I like saying, you level up in the spirit, because the first time you get put through it, you're like, oh man, why is this happening? The second time, oh God, man, the third time, then you're like, oh, well, I know why I'm going through this. Oh, I know what to do. You see? And that builds it purifies you, it builds your resolve, builds your faith, builds your integrity, and it shows that you can maintain your faith in Yahawah Shem Shai, not just when everything's going splendid for you, when everything's just lovely for you, but also when things aren't going so well for you. Because Yahawah Shem Shai is with you, both in your prosperity and within your times of affliction. Okay? So with that, I just wanted to add on or do a slight response to the brother's comment. All praises, honors, and glories be unto Yahawah Shem Shai. QADASH, double honors, some elders and my apostles of Great Milestone, they do it well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect, the hopeful elect, and the 1/3. With that being said, Shalom. RAWCHAA. Shalom.